I'm going to talk today on behalf of For Your Wealth about wealth, money, achievement, accomplishment, and meeting your potential. So, when we talk about wealth and achievement and accomplishment, there are certain things that make us afraid of those words, or being a millionaire, or being rich, or having more money than other people. So to get to that point, we have to do 3 steps. The first step is to heal. The second one is to believe. And the third one is to achieve. So the first one, to heal, we're going to heal those wounds that cause us to be victims. And what is the versus, or the opposite of being a victim, is to be victorious. So if we get over that victim consciousness, we can be victorious and we can achieve our mission. We can go from the cross to the resurrection, and we can let go of that addiction to pain. When we were small, or when we were in school, people tended to treat us with inferiority, maybe used us, controlled us, hurt our self-esteem with words, low worth. Maybe we didn't get the job that we wanted, or we didn't have a stable job because of illnesses or because of circumstances. We felt like we didn't matter. We were ignored. Our debts went over too much than what we made. We got tired. We were called lazy. And sometimes people like me self-sabotaged. So all of those wounds need to be healed. The humiliation, the feeling of being cluttered, of being not taking a decision, of not going through what your purpose in life is. All of this are symptoms of having been mistreated or being abused and being a victim to bullying, to narcissists, to people who were really ill, who hurt us. So the way to heal that pain is to believe, to begin to heal, to feel those feelings, but not to dwell in them too long. But rather to get out of the cross. Jesus was only in the cross for 3 hours. So we need to get out of that cross and be resurrected. He resurrected after 3 days. And he felt the feelings. And we have to feel the feelings of fear. And we probably felt them for too long, of being paralyzed. I read in a book, I think it was called Toxic Parents, that it talked about the 3 P's. Perfectionism is the first P. The second P is it's perfectionism, procrastination, and then paralyzation. So we want to make everything perfect, and therefore nothing can be perfect. And so then we procrastinate to do and to achieve, and then we paralyze. And a lot of people who have been overly criticized by their parents or by their teachers or by society or even by themselves have those symptoms of the PPP. You know, they procrastinate, they become too perfect, they want everything perfect, they obsess over perfection, and then they paralyze, and I've done it. You know, I've sat in the couch and I have holes in my couch from where I sat there and didn't do this kind of mission that needed to be done and this kind of work that needed to be done. So we feel the feelings for just a second, briefly. It's sad. We go to that inner child, to that inner beautiful person in our heart that is a true person that has been wounded. And we go to this little place in our hearts that has been broken. And we say to this child, you are innocent. You didn't deserve to be treated like that. No one deserves to be talked in such a way. You are free. I give you the freedom to express yourself and to be victorious and to glorify yourself as a glorified body. And I give you permission to succeed. And I give you permission to be the person that you were created to be. So we go to that deep wound and we let that child play. We let the child be. That child didn't deserve to be treated like this. So we give each other a hug and we say the things that we wanted to hear when we were kids. You're an amazing gift from God. Every person in the world was planned by a God, by a consciousness that's higher than us, by a creator who created us. And so we say, I am a child of God. I am a gift. I am a blessed child, healed and whole of mind, spirit, heart, soul, and body. I am healed financially, and I am blessed eternally. That is one good proclamation for our lives that we have to really follow up with. We can write this down in little pieces of paper and write down all the beautiful things that we want to say to a child who has been wounded and mistreated, who's out there in the streets, starved for love, starved for clothing, starved of everything that they needed, us not having a mom or not having someone to love them. And we look at that child and we say, come home with me. I will provide for you. I will take care of you. I will love you. I will commence to be your best friend. And sometimes we are our own worst enemy because we've been treated so badly and we've been taught to be our worst enemies. And what did Jesus say about our worst enemies is that we have to love them. And we have to embrace that poor little child broken in the street and say, I am provided for. I am granted with blessings. I am granted with a roof over my head. And start looking at the gratitude and the love and the things that we have been provided for. And look at how we would treat this child. Because this child is us, and we need to treat them with respect and with love, with patience, with kindness, with tenderness. And that means, putting on makeup sometimes. That means brushing our hair when we don't feel like it. That means, giving each other a hug. But especially, it means to talk to us in a manner that is respectful, so that we can cast out all that noise and all those broken records repeating in our brains from trauma, and we can re-record a new message of I am genuine, I am amazing, I am fortunate, I am glorified, I am smart, I have all of my senses, I have the gift of love for myself. And so we can turn all of those around, and that is the process of healing those inner child wounds. If that is very difficult for us to do, there is some work provided, and I will provide a link to it, by someone who talks a lot about self-love and affirmations. We can write those down. I have a mirror of affirmations that I will put a picture of, where I look at myself and I read those affirmations, because I sometimes forget who I am. And my brain continues to remind me of all the wounds, but we need to cast that out. Those are lies. Those are liars. The people who told us those things are liars. And we need to reprogram our brains to think differently and to believe in ourselves. The second step is, it is to go and do that and actually sink it in affirmations. I am a lifter. I'm encouraged. I'm an encourager. I am a defender of my integrity. I am in control of my truth. So no one can control my truth. I am created in God's image, a reflection of God. I am a slave no more. I am free. I am free to decide. I am a leader. I am a decision maker. I am unlocked. I am imperfect. And I can make errors, and it's okay. And it's okay to fail, and it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay. Whoopsie doopsie. I get up again, and I raise up again, and I can fight this, and I can prosper at this. And it's okay to be human. So we reprogram our brains. We can put those little affirmations in a little box. And every time we're going to get ready to eat, we take one little affirmation, we read it. Or we take 5, 10, however many you want, or we write a new one. I have an affirmation game that I did with my daughter, who's now in college, and nobody's allowed to say anything negative, but we're allowed only to say positive things to each other. So we can play that game with our kids, we can play that game with ourselves, and only say the positive, only say the beautiful things, and look at ourselves in the mirror and not look at, oh, look, I have a zit. No. Oh, look, I have a pimple. I have a little wrinkle. No, we're going to say, look, my skin is glowing. Look, my lips are beautiful. My hair looks amazing. Thank God I have hair. Those are the retraining of our brains, reprogramming of our brains, reparenting ourselves in a way that we are kind and loving to our inner child and to ourselves and to our beautiful hearts. I want everyone here to see yourself through the eyes of someone who loves you. And if you don't have anybody who loves you, then I want you to learn what God says in the Bible or in any of the scriptures that you read about you, that you are created in God's image, that you are his child, his beloved, that he died in the cross for you, that this is a God that wants a relationship with you. And and the next step to heal is to cut that umbilical cord and shake off, literally, physically, shake it off and break free from that umbilical cord of that people had over us to control us and try to manipulate us so that we wouldn't be able to make any decisions, so that we wouldn't prove them wrong, that we're awesome. So we're going to break that off and shake it off and start walking freely. And we're going to lift up our arms and say, I am free at last. Free at last. The second step is the belief system. And how do we change our core beliefs? So the belief that I am inferior or that I am not worthy of money, we have evidence for it. Well, I didn't get the job that I applied for. But then we look at proof of alternative ways of looking at the evidence. And this comes from the Center of Critical Interventions, and it's called Developing Balanced Core Beliefs. And I will put a handout there so that you can print it out and start doing that work on negative beliefs, and you can do all of your negative beliefs. I had like 100. So alternative ways of looking at the evidence of how I actually got another job that was better than that. Well, maybe I'm not that inferior because I'm equal with my partner, and we share finances together, and we share our home together, and all of those things that will give you evidence. And so I want 10 things that give evidence to how you are now a more balanced, equal person to everyone. And then I want you to have a new balanced core belief. The new balanced core belief is that I am equal and that I deserve prosperity. And the evidence for the new balanced core belief is what to look out for in the future. I will look out for, getting that second home so that I can have some income as rentals. To look at in the future is to have that $1 million. So I'm going to write down that $1 million check for me and date it, for that date. And the new behavior is an experiment that I can do to support or gain more evidence on my new balanced core belief. So an experiment that you can do is to look at yourself in your eyes and say, I want and I will be prosperous. And then the third thing, after we do this whole adjusting of all core negative beliefs, it's to actually give ourselves evidence of prosperity. So if it is that business plan that we're planning to write, we will sit down every day or 3 times a week to look at how to write that business plan. And we will actually get to writing it. And that's an experiment. That is something scientific that I'm going to prove that, yes, I believe in prosperity, and I am going to take that risk, and I am going to buy that property that's going to give me extra income, and I am going to prove myself, and I am going to try and get that loan. I am going to prove myself, and I'm going to try and get out of debt. And so we need to write down a plan, and then we need to work that plan. And that's where I come in. I can help everyone here to come up with that plan and to accomplish it. We can do workshops to adjust your negative beliefs, to adjust your fears, and then to go ahead and get started.